They're literally decorated eggs. Fancy Easter gifts made from gold and jewels that serve no practical purpose whatsoever. Yet a single Fabergé egg can sell for over $30 million. Museums display them behind bulletproof glass like they're priceless relics, and collectors spend lifetimes hunting for these ornamental objects that you can't eat, can't use, and can barely touch without white gloves. I'm Oleg G from Art Explained, simply and quickly, and today we're cracking open the mystery of why Fabergé eggs represent the absolute pinnacle of decorative art. Because once you understand the insane level of craftsmanship, the hidden mechanical surprises inside, and the tragic imperial history they embody, you'll never call them just eggs again. Here's what most people miss when they dismiss Fabergé eggs as expensive trinkets. These aren't just decorated eggs, they're masterpieces of miniature engineering that took teams of the world's finest craftsmen months or even years to create, using techniques so complex that many can't be replicated even with modern technology. Each egg contains hidden surprises, miniature carriages that actually roll, tiny trees with moving birds, working clock the size of walnuts, mechanical marvels disguised as decorative objects. And they represent the final doomed flowering of Imperial Russian luxury before the revolution destroyed that world forever, making them not just art objects, but witnesses to a vanished civilization. To understand why Fabergé eggs matter, we need to start with the man who created them and the emperor who commissioned them. Carl Fabergé was a Russian jeweler of French and German descent who took over his father's St. Petersburg jewelry business in 1872. By the 1880s, he had built a reputation for extraordinary craftsmanship and innovative design that attracted the attention of Tsar Alexander III, the Russian emperor who ruled one of the most powerful empires on earth. In 1885, Alexander III wanted to give his wife, Empress Maria Feodorovna, an Easter gift that would remind her of her Danish childhood. He commissioned Fabergé to create something special. What Fabergé delivered was the First Imperial Easter Egg, a deceptively simple white enamel egg that opened to reveal a golden yolk, which opened to reveal a golden hen, which opened to reveal a tiny diamond replica of the imperial crown with a ruby pendant. This nested surprise structure, egg within treasure, established the template for all subsequent Fabergé eggs. Before we explore what makes these objects so technically extraordinary, I'm curious about your perspective on decorative art generally. Do you think objects made purely for beauty and pleasure have the same cultural value as functional objects or fine art paintings? Where do you draw the line between craft and art? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The Empress was delighted with her gift, and Alexander III made Fabergé an annual commission. Create a new egg every Easter with complete creative freedom, with only 2 requirements. Each egg must be egg-shaped and each must contain a surprise. This commission continued under Alexander's son, Nicholas II, who commissioned 2 eggs annually, one for his mother and one for his wife, Alexandra. From 1885 to 1917, Fabergé created 50 imperial Easter eggs, though some records suggest 52 or 54, with some eggs lost or disputed. The technical achievement these eggs represent is staggering. Let's take the Trans-Siberian Railway Egg from 1900 as an example of the complexity involved. The egg itself is made of silver with enamel panels, showing a map of the Trans-Siberian Railway route. But the surprise inside is what makes this miraculous. A working miniature model of the Trans-Siberian Railway train, complete with platinum locomotive, gold carriages with tiny windows made of rock crystal, and a mechanism that makes the train actually run along a miniature track. This train is only a few inches long, yet contains moving parts, proper proportions, and details so fine they can barely be seen with the naked eye. Creating this required expertise in multiple disciplines: jewelry making, metalworking, enameling, miniature mechanics, gem cutting, and engineering. Fabergé employed teams of master craftsmen, each specializing in specific techniques. The headwork master would coordinate their efforts over months or years to produce a single egg. This wasn't assembly line production, but bespoke creation where every element was handmade to microscopic tolerances. If you're finding this video helpful, please hit like to help the YouTube algorithm push my videos to other art lovers. Want to support further? Check out my affordable membership options with exclusive perks, or simply use it to say thanks. And your support helps me create content like this every week. The enameling techniques alone represent lost arts that modern craftsmen struggle to replicate. Fabergé used a technique called Guilloché enameling, where the metal surface is first engraved with intricate geometric patterns using a machine called a rose engine, then covered with multiple translucent enamel layers. The light passes through the enamel and reflects off the engraved pattern below, creating an effect of depth and luminosity that can't be achieved through paint or single-layer enamel. Different enamel colors required different temperatures and chemical compositions, and achieving the perfect finish required extraordinary skill and experience. The Lilies of the Valley egg from 1898 demonstrates another level of technical mastery. The egg itself is covered in rose-cut diamonds and features enamel lilies of the valley with pearl flowers. The surprise inside is 3 miniature portraits of Nicholas II and his 2 eldest daughters, which rise up from the top of the egg when a button is pressed. This pop-up mechanism had to be engineered to fit inside the egg's limited space while operating smoothly for over a century without breaking. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the bigger question: when objects require this level of skill and time to create, does that justify their enormous value? Or is the whole concept of ultra-luxury decorative art fundamentally excessive? Share your perspective in the comments. The materials used in Fabergé eggs read like a catalog of the world's most precious substances. Gold, often in multiple colors: yellow, white, rose, platinum, silver, diamonds, rubies, sapphires, emeralds, pearls, semi-precious stones like lapis lazuli and jade, rock crystal, enamel in dozens of colors, and even exotic materials like Siberian nephrite and bowenite. But what's remarkable is that Fabergé didn't just pile on expensive materials, he used them with restraint and artistic purpose, sometimes featuring humble materials like wood or bone if they served the design better than gold. The artistic influences on Fabergé's designs reveal sophisticated engagement with art history and contemporary movements. He drew on 18th century French Rococo, Russian Byzantine traditions, Art Nouveau's organic forms, Japanese decorative arts, and Louis XVI neoclassicism. Each egg reflects different stylistic influences synthesized into coherent, original designs. The rose trellis egg incorporates Art Nouveau's curving lines and floral motifs. The coronation egg references Baroque imperial symbolism. This wasn't historical pastiche, but creative reinterpretation. The surprises inside the eggs varied dramatically in nature and complexity. Some were sentimental, miniature portraits, replicas of imperial palaces, models of imperial yachts. Others were purely decorative: jeweled flowers, enamel miniatures, carved hard stone figurines. Still others were functional: tiny working clocks, mechanical singing birds, photographic albums. The variety demonstrates that Fabergé wasn't repeating a formula, but treating each commission as an opportunity for innovation. The winter egg from 1913 shows how far this innovation could go. The egg is made of rock crystal carved to resemble ice, set with diamonds that look like frost, sitting on a quartz base carved to resemble melting snow. Open the egg, and you find a platinum basket filled with wood anemones carved from white quartz with demantoid garnet centers and gold stems. This surprise doesn't move or function mechanically. Its magic is purely artistic, transforming carved stone into flowers that look more delicate than real flowers. The egg's relationship to Russian imperial power and the eventual revolution adds historical weight to their artistic significance. These objects were created during the final decades of Romanov rule, when the Russian Empire was simultaneously at the height of its power and heading toward catastrophic collapse. The extravagant luxury they represent, months of labor by master craftsmen to create a single gift, exemplifies the inequality and excess that contributed to revolutionary anger. When the Bolshevik Revolution succeeded in 1917, the imperial family was imprisoned and eventually executed. The Fabergé eggs, along with other imperial treasures, were confiscated by the new Soviet government. Some were sold in the 1920s and 30s when the Soviets needed foreign currency, selling off the old regime's luxury goods to fund industrialization. This dispersal scattered the eggs around the world, with some ending up in private collections, others in museums, and several completely lost. The survival of these eggs through a revolution, world wars, and the dissolution of the Soviet Union is itself remarkable. They're witnesses to history, physical remnants of a vanished world. Unlike paintings or sculptures that might depict Imperial Russia, these eggs were actually there. They sat on imperial Easter tables, were handled by emperors and empresses who would soon be murdered, embodied a way of life about to be destroyed forever. The market for Fabergé eggs has grown enormously since the Soviet era. In 2002, the winter egg sold for $9.6 million. In 2007, the Rothschild egg sold for $18.5 million. In 2014, a Fabergé egg was discovered by a scrap metal dealer who had bought it planning to melt it down for the gold. He looked it up online before destroying it, discovered it was worth $33 million, and sold it to a private collector. This story illustrates both the egg's extraordinary value and the real possibility that lost eggs might still exist, unrecognized in private collections or even junk shops. The question of authenticity and attribution complicates the Fabergé market. Genuine imperial Easter eggs are well documented. We know which ones were made, what they looked like, and where most of them are. But Fabergé's workshops also created eggs for other wealthy clients, and other jewelers created eggs in Fabergé's style. Distinguishing genuine Fabergé work from skilled imitations or workshop pieces requires expertise in marks, materials, techniques, and provenance. The egg's influence on decorative arts extends far beyond their immediate context. They set standards for luxury craftsmanship that influenced Art Deco designers, mid-century jewelers, and contemporary luxury brands. The concept of hidden mechanical surprises appears in high-end watchmaking and jewelry. The synthesis of multiple materials and techniques in single objects inspired modernist designers. The eggs proved that decorative arts could achieve the same level of cultural significance as painting or sculpture. Contemporary artists and designers reference Fabergé eggs both as aspirational models of craftsmanship and as symbols of obscene luxury worth critiquing. Damien Hirst's jewel-covered skulls engage with similar questions about value, materials, and mortality. Jeff Koons's fabricated sculptures requiring teams of specialists echo Fabergé's workshop model. The eggs remain cultural touchstones whether you admire or condemn what they represent. The eggs' presence in museum collections worldwide has made them surprisingly accessible to public viewing despite their astronomical values. The Kremlin Armory in Moscow has 10 imperial eggs. The Virginia Museum of Fine Arts has 5. The Walters Art Museum in Baltimore has several. The Hillwood Estate in Washington, D.C. displays eggs in a recreated imperial Russian context. These museum presentations allow millions of people to see objects that could otherwise remain locked in private vaults. The conservation challenges facing Fabergé eggs reflect their complexity. The combination of delicate materials, enamel can crack, mechanisms can jam, gemstone settings can loosen, requires specialist conservators with expertise in multiple disciplines. Simply cleaning an egg requires understanding how different materials react to different treatments. Some eggs require ongoing maintenance to keep their mechanical surprises functional. The egg's relationship to Easter and Russian Orthodox tradition adds spiritual dimensions to their material luxury. Easter is Orthodox Christianity's most important holiday, celebrating resurrection and renewal. The egg is an ancient symbol of new life and rebirth. Fabergé transformed this humble symbol into ultimate luxury objects, creating tension between Easter's spiritual message and the material excess of imperial gifts. If you're fascinated by objects that represent the absolute pinnacle of human craftsmanship and how decorative arts can embody entire civilizations at their moment of greatest achievement, hit that subscribe button right now and join our community of art explorers. Every week on Art Explained Simply and Quickly, we examine works that demonstrate art's power across all media and forms. What's your honest reaction to objects like Fabergé eggs? Are they masterpieces proving that decorative arts deserve equal status with painting and sculpture? Or are they symbols of excessive luxury that's fundamentally problematic? Can you appreciate the craftsmanship while questioning the social context that produced such extravagance? Do you think the egg's historical significance and artistic achievement justify their preservation? Your thoughts help us understand how we value different forms of artistic creation. If this video helped you understand why Fabergé eggs represent far more than just decorated eggs and appreciate the extraordinary craftsmanship, engineering, and historical significance they embody, give it a thumbs up. It helps more people discover these incredible stories of decorative arts at their finest. See you in the next exploration.